High IQ, great education, analytical mind. These should be advantages, right? They should make decisions easier. But they don't. They make them harder. Because the smarter you are, the more possibilities you see, the more outcomes you can predict, the more ways things can go wrong. So instead of deciding faster, you decide slower, or not at all. This is the curse of intelligence. And today, I'm going to explain the psychology behind why smart people get stuck and how to use your brain as a tool, not a trap. Welcome to MindSpark Psychology, the podcast where we explore the hidden psychology behind human behavior. In today's episode, we're diving deep into analysis paralysis, why overthinking destroys action. Let me paint you a picture. You need to make a decision. Maybe it's choosing a career path, maybe it's ending a relationship, maybe it's just picking a restaurant for dinner. So you start researching. You make lists, pros and cons. You consider every angle. You ask for opinions. You read reviews. You analyze the data. Hours pass, days, sometimes weeks. And then, nothing. You still haven't decided, not because you lack information, but because you have too much of it. This is analysis paralysis, the state where overthinking prevents action, where the pursuit of the perfect decision becomes the enemy of any decision at all. And here's the irony. The smarter you are, the more vulnerable you become to this trap. Why? Because intelligence gives you the ability to see complexity, to imagine multiple futures, to calculate risks and probabilities. These are valuable skills, but they come with a dark side. Your brain becomes a simulation machine, running endless scenarios. Each scenario branches into more scenarios. And before you know it, you're not analyzing options anymore. You're drowning in them. Psychologists call this choice overload. The more options you have, the harder it becomes to choose. And smart people, they don't just see the options in front of them. They invent new ones. Let me give you an example. Meet Alex, highly intelligent software engineer. He's been offered 2 job opportunities. Job A pays more but requires relocation. Job B offers better work-life balance but less career advancement. A simple person might decide in a day. But Alex, he's been thinking about it for 3 months. He's created spreadsheets comparing salary projections over 10 years. He's researched cost of living in both cities. He's mapped out potential career trajectories. He's even factored in statistical likelihood of meeting a romantic partner in each location. The analysis is impressive, but it's also paralyzing, because no matter how much data Alex collects, he can't predict the future, and his brain knows this. So it keeps searching for that one piece of information that will make the decision obvious. Spoiler alert, that piece doesn't exist. Let's talk about what's happening in your brain when you overthink. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-making center, is designed to evaluate options and choose the best one. When functioning properly, it's efficient. You gather information, weigh it, decide, move on. But when you overthink, something goes wrong. Your prefrontal cortex gets stuck in a loop. It keeps processing the same information over and over, looking for certainty that doesn't exist. Meanwhile, your anterior cingulate cortex, which detects conflict and uncertainty, keeps sending alarm signals. We're not sure yet. Keep analyzing. Don't decide until you're certain. This creates a feedback loop. The more you think, the more uncertainty you discover. The more uncertainty you discover, the more you think. And here's where it gets worse. Prolonged overthinking actually degrades decision quality. Studies have shown that when people spend too long deliberating, they become less satisfied with their eventual choice. Not because they chose wrong, but because the process itself creates doubt. You've thought about it so much that you've talked yourself out of every option. Nothing feels right anymore. There's also a neurochemical component. Overthinking triggers chronic stress responses. Cortisol levels rise. This impairs your prefrontal cortex function, making it even harder to think clearly. You're literally thinking yourself stupid. Not everyone overthinks the same way. Let me break down 5 distinct patterns. Type number 1, the perfectionist overthinker. You're looking for the perfect decision, the one with 0 downsides, the flawless choice that you'll never regret. So you keep analyzing, waiting for that perfect option to reveal itself. But perfect doesn't exist. And while you're waiting for it, you're missing good enough. Here's the truth. Most decisions don't require perfection. They require good enough, executed well. Type number 2, the catastrophizer. You don't just think about what could go wrong. You imagine the worst possible outcome and treat it as inevitable. If I take this job, I might fail, get fired, lose my house, end up homeless. Your brain jumps from possibility to catastrophe in seconds. And once you've catastrophized, the fear paralyzes you. Type number 3, the information addict. You believe that more information equals better decisions. So you keep researching. One more article, one more review, one more expert opinion. But here's the problem. After a certain point, more information doesn't improve decision quality. It just creates noise. You're not researching anymore, you're procrastinating. Type number 4, the opportunity cost obsessor. Every choice you make means saying no to something else, and you can't stop thinking about what you're giving up. If I choose A, I lose B, but if I choose B, I lose A. What if B was actually better? You're so focused on what you might lose that you can't see what you might gain. Type number 5, the responsibility avoider. You don't want to make the decision because you don't want to be responsible for the outcome. If you don't decide, you can't be wrong. If you can't be wrong, you can't be blamed. So you delegate. You wait for someone else to decide. You hope the decision makes itself. But indecision is still a decision, and avoiding responsibility doesn't protect you from consequences. Let's talk about what overthinking is actually costing you, because it's not just wasted time. Cost number 1, missed opportunities. While you're analyzing, opportunities expire. The job offer goes to someone else. The apartment gets rented. The relationship moves on. Timing matters, and overthinking destroys timing. Cost number 2, chronic stress and anxiety. Unresolved decisions create mental loops that run constantly in the background. Even when you're not actively thinking about it, your brain is processing it. This creates persistent low-level anxiety. You can't fully relax because there's always this unfinished business in your mind. Cost number 3, decision fatigue. Your brain has limited decision-making capacity each day. When you spend hours agonizing over one decision, you deplete that capacity. By the time you need to make other decisions, you're mentally exhausted, so you make worse choices or avoid choosing altogether. Cost number 4, reduced confidence. Every time you overthink a decision, you're sending yourself a message. I don't trust myself to choose. Over time, this erodes self-confidence. You start believing you're bad at making decisions, and that belief becomes self-fulfilling. Cost number 5, stagnation. Life requires forward motion. Growth requires action. When you're stuck in analysis, you're not moving forward. You're standing still while the world moves around you. And standing still is not the same as being safe. It's just being left behind. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Why does intelligence make this worse? There are several reasons. Reason number 1, pattern recognition overdrive. Smart people are excellent at seeing patterns and connections. This is usually an advantage, but when making decisions, it becomes a curse. You see too many variables, too many connections, too many potential outcomes. Your brain creates a decision tree so complex that navigating it becomes impossible. Reason number 2, high standards. Intelligent people often have high standards for themselves. You expect your decisions to be well-reasoned, thoroughly researched, and logically sound. This creates pressure. Every decision feels like a test of your intelligence. And the fear of making a stupid choice paralyzes you. Reason number 3, awareness of uncertainty. Smart people understand how much they don't know. You're aware of the limitations of your information. You recognize that the future is unpredictable. This awareness, while accurate, makes it harder to commit because you know that no amount of analysis can eliminate uncertainty. Reason number 4, multiple perspectives. Intelligence allows you to see situations from multiple angles. You can argue both sides of any decision. You understand the nuance, the complexity, the gray areas. But when you can argue every side equally well, how do you choose? You end up stuck in perpetual debate with yourself. Reason number 5, fear of wasted potential. Smart people are often told they have so much potential. This creates pressure to make optimal use of your abilities. Every decision feels weighted with the fear, what if I'm wasting my potential? What if I could do better? This fear keeps you searching for the perfect path, even though perfect paths don't exist. So how do you escape analysis paralysis? How do you stop overthinking and start doing? Let me give you a framework that actually works. Step number 1, set a decision deadline. Give yourself a specific date and time by which you will decide. Not sometime soon, not when I'm ready. An actual deadline. And here's the key. When that deadline arrives, you choose with whatever information you have. No extensions, no exceptions. This forces your brain out of endless analysis mode and into decision mode. Step number 2, limit your information intake. Decide in advance how much research is enough. 3 articles, 5 expert opinions, 1 week of consideration. Once you hit that limit, stop. More information won't make you more certain. It'll just give you more to overthink. Step number 3, use the 80-20 rule. In most decisions, 20% of the information gives you 80% of the clarity you need. The remaining 80% of information only adds 20% more clarity. Don't chase that last 20%. It's not worth the time and mental energy. Step number 4, embrace good enough. Most decisions don't need to be perfect. They need to be good enough and executed well. A good decision made today is better than a perfect decision made never. Ask yourself, is this option acceptable? Can I make it work? If yes, choose it and move forward. Step number 5, externalize the decision. Get it out of your head. Write down your options. Flip a coin. Ask a trusted friend for their gut reaction. Sometimes the best way to know what you want is to let chance decide, then notice how you feel about the result. If you're relieved, that's your answer. If you're disappointed, that's also your answer. Step number 6, reframe failure. Overthinking is often driven by fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth. There is no wrong choice. There are only choices and their consequences. And most consequences can be managed, adapted to, or reversed. The only truly wrong choice is the one you never make. Step number 7, practice with small decisions. Don't wait for big decisions to practice decisive action. Start small. What to eat for lunch? Decide in 30 seconds. Which movie to watch? 2 minutes max. Train your brain that not every decision needs deep analysis. Build the muscle of quick, confident choosing. Here's something I want you to think about. Right now, while you're listening to this, there's probably a decision you've been avoiding, something you've been thinking about for too long. Maybe it's a conversation you need to have. Maybe it's a change you need to make. Maybe it's a risk you need to take. And you've been telling yourself, you're not ready. You need more time, more information, more certainty. But let me ask you this. What if that decision doesn't require more thinking? What if it requires less? What if the answer has been clear for a while, but you've been drowning it out with analysis? Because here's the thing about overthinking. It's not really about the decision. It's about control. You think that if you analyze enough, research enough, think enough, you can control the outcome. You can guarantee success. You can avoid failure. But you can't. Life doesn't work that way. The future is uncertain no matter how much you think about it. And no amount of analysis can change that. So maybe the question isn't, what should I do? Maybe the question is, what am I so afraid of? Because once you answer that question honestly, the decision usually becomes clear. Your intelligence is a gift, but it's a gift you need to manage. Don't let it manage you. Think when thinking serves you, but act when thinking doesn't. This has been MindSpark Psychology. Thank you for thinking with me today. Now go do something about it, and remember, done is better than perfect.